The other exciting thing that's coming up is PASIC 2018.
Yep.
For those who be watching this before, and you are doing a performance.
Yeah, I'm giving a masterclass.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you talk about that, please?
Yeah, that came out of left field for me. I was approached by the drum set committee chair, and he said, "I'm going to put your name in the hat for consideration. I love what you're doing." Basically, it was all via the 1 minute experimental videos I was posting on Instagram, where I've been spending the past couple of years just trying to find my own voice on the instrument, because I've done so much work where I'm trying to sound like someone else. Like I'm in a cover band, I'm trying to sound like this drummer. If I'm recording an album for somebody and they say, "I want you to sound like this person." So I felt like I could play the drums and I could play them. I get good sounds and all this, but what do I have to say on the instrument? That was the question.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I decided this is all part of that morning routine where I'm going to go down to my drum set. I'm going to fire up some electronic things. I'm going to loop some stuff, and I'm going to jam over top of it. And then later that night, I'm going to post a 1 minute excerpt from that. So it just started. That was just what I'm going to do. I'm going to just do that, and I'm going to eventually find some things that are mine that no one's ever done before. Because these loops I'm improvising. They can't be recreated. They're once they're done, they're gone. So he saw that, and he really digs. He's become a good friend and a fan, and he put my name in consideration, and they offered me a time slot. So
that's great.
I've been going to PASIC since 1994, so it's pretty, to finally be the one on stage. I'm not nearly as overwhelmed with fear as I thought I would be.
Great.
Which is good. I think maybe I'm actually ready to do something like that.
Fantastic. Yeah. Can you talk about PASIC in general, and maybe you don't have to, of course, but any kind of sneak peek of what your performance, your master class might be?
Yeah, PASIC, for anyone who hasn't been, it's the Percussive Art Society International Convention. It is one of a kind where drummers, percussionists from all around the world come together and share their ideas via clinics and master classes and performances of new works and performances of classic works. Manufacturers can bring their new gear and put it in the exhibit hall for anyone to check out. So it's been a really inspiring event for me, especially coming from a small town and not having access to, I don't know what the actual drum industry was like when I was 14, 15 years old. So be able to go to Atlanta or Nashville and see everyone from the drum industry come together and okay, that's the level, that's the bar, that's where you need to be in order if you want to really be successful in this business. So for that, it's been great. So I try to keep that in the back of my mind as I've been going every year, mostly for work, and I don't want it to become it's another work thing. I've got to go do this so I try to keep that 15-year-old version of myself who was standing at the bar with Chad Smith, who was my favorite drummer of all time at the time.
Wow.
Dom Famularo, who was the first drum clinic I'd ever seen. John Blackwell, who was unknown at the time. Yeah. He was, I think, maybe had done a couple gigs with Shaka Khan or something. Wow. Tony Royster Jr., who was 8 years old, so he was there. All these people in one little spot, and then here I am, just completely agreeing to the whole experience. So anyway, I'm super honored, and I'm glad that it still exists. I think every drummer should go to PASIC at least once just to kind of get a reality check, a little bit of that's what it means to be a professional. You got to do that, Yeah. So my presentation is going to be essentially a summation of one thing that I developed to help my students and myself find their own voice. One routine, simple routine of practicing restricted ideas. So single strokes and doubles with the right hand. So you can play single strokes and you can double the right hand whenever you want, but you got to just play them constantly, just in 16th notes, no breaks, no pauses, and make some music with it. Right. What are you going to do? Right. How are you going to apply it? Is it going to be a groove thing? Is it going to be a solo thing? Is it going to be a mixture of both? So that's going to be the idea, and I'm going to bring some of my looping toys to mess around with.
That sounds great.